Welcome. Today we'll learn about function overloading in programming, when two or more functions can share the same name. Let's look at this question. Two or more functions may have the same name provided that A, they do different things. B, one has a prototype and the other doesn't. C, their parameter lists are different. D, their return types are different. E, either their parameter lists are different or their return types are different. Let's understand this with examples. First, let's look at functions with different parameter lists, which is the correct answer. This is valid function overloading because the compiler can distinguish between the functions based on their parameter lists. When you call print with one parameter, it knows to use the first version. When you call it with two parameters, it uses the second version. Now, let's look at why different return types alone are not enough for function overloading. This is invalid because when you call getValue, the compiler doesn't know which version to use since the parameter lists are identical. The return type alone is not enough to distinguish between the functions. Let's summarize. The correct answer is C. Functions can share the same name only if their parameter lists are different. This is because the compiler uses the parameter list to determine which version of the function to call. Return types, prototypes, or what the functions do internally are not sufficient for function overloading. Here's a practical example of why function overloading is useful. We can have a print function that works with different types of data, making our code more intuitive and easier to read. Remember, function overloading is all about having different parameter lists, either different types or different numbers of parameters. This allows us to write more flexible and readable code.